All right, welcome to worksheet number 5. This one we're going to be making walls for your ball to bounce off of. There are other ways to do this that might be more simple, but the more simple code that I've found only works on flat walls and not, like a curved wall. So we're going to stick with the original way, and if you want to know another way, I might make a different video for that. But anyway, you might notice my hair's grown a little bit. It's been a little while. I have algae growing back in this tent, and it's a whole nother unit. I'll do a whole nother video on that. Just some of you might be wondering, well, what's going on? Everything changed behind them. Now you know. Anyway, so let's get moving. The ball's bouncing around already. I can stop it for a second. But yeah, it has been a while, so I had to get back into the groove here. All right. So the first thing we want to do is make a wall to actually bounce off of. So click on the paintbrush and let's make a wall. Don't forget to go to vector because everything's better in vector mode. At least that's my opinion. Let's make a wall here. And pink with red in the middle. Oh, wow. I got a gradient going on here. That'll look cool. All right, let's do that. And come back here and actually call it wall. All right. So make new sprite, call it wall, make it a simple rectangle. Good. Let's go back to scripts and get off of that. Click on the actual ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the eye and rotate it by using this little circle. And I'm going to go, if I bring my mouse way out here, you can have a much finer movement. So 45 degrees, just to be nice and neat. Okay, so next I'm going to go back to the ball. Here we're on the ball. It says to make a new block. So right here, I'm already on more blocks. So click on more blocks and say, make a block. We're going to call it hit wall. So hit and then wall, no spaces. Go to options. We have a string input so we can tell it which wall. Okay, so we'll say wall. Okay, and run without screen refresh. That'll make it go really fast. Say okay. It sticks it up here. I'm gonna drag it down here where we're gonna be working. Way down here. I'm zoomed in so you can see what I'm doing better, but it makes me have to scroll like a madman. All right. All right. Add an if then. If then. Right here. If then. That's what everything is in here. If then. And we need to detect when we're touching the wall. So just like we've done it a million times, so you should know by now how to check if you're touching something. So touch wall. So that's why you name everything, so you can pick it out of the, if everything just said sprite 1, sprite 2, sprite 3, sprite 4, you'd forget what's what. All right. And we need to actually tell it to hit the wall. So we're telling it to come over here and do what we tell it to do here, just like we did for the hit the peg. And the key to that is making sure that you type in everything exactly the same. Make sure you don't have a space before or after, and it's good. All right. All right, so now we need to figure out how we're going to bounce off of the wall. So the ball's going to come in, and now we need to bounce. Bouncing off the edges is easy. It does that for you, but whenever we have something that's at an angle, we have to figure it out. Now the simple code is just to ask it what its angle is, and it would get that from right here, its direction, or ask the wall what direction it is and then adjust your ball accordingly. But that only works for straight things. So we're going to come up with a different way of figuring out which angle that wall is at. And we'll just have the ball come in and just keep checking things until it figures out what direction the wall is at. It sounds kind of weird at first, but it'll make sense as we go. Okay, now the first thing we want to do is we're going to use one of the variables that we've already used. So we're not going to create a new one, we're just going to use your angle. So we're going to be using it, but before we can use it, we need to set it to 0 because we've used it already. It might contain a number in it that's from bouncing off of a peg, and we want it to be 0 so we can use it to keep track of stuff and not have it accidentally have another number in there. So this is what I call, like, clearing the memory. All right, that variable. All right, now the next thing you want to do is back off of the wall, because sometimes when the ball hits the wall, it's like embedded into it a little bit. So we want to back off, and we've already created that code, which makes it easy. So we just say back off. Now don't type in anything here because we already typed it here. We don't have to say back off wall. We're going to say back off this. That way when we make other walls, it'll automatically type in wall 2 or wall 3 in there for you, and you only have to make this one time. That's the advantage to having functions. All right, just shortens your code a lot. Otherwise, you'd have to account for every single combination. All right. So first you back off of it, and so now you're just barely right on the wall. You're in the perfect position to start testing where you're at. Okay. All right. I know we just backed off of it, but what we're going to do is now go in. We're going to like plunge into the wall or stab into the wall. And we're going to go in exactly 5. We want to control exactly how far we move into the wall. And 5 steps seems to be about right. This one's like 5 pixels in a way. You can almost look at that as pixels. Anyway, so we're in the wall, and so now we're going to do a repeat loop until something happens here. So we're going to repeat the following until the ball is no longer touching the wall. That's what it says right in the instructions here. So repeat the following. So is there a repeat? Yes, there is. Repeat the following until, and there it says until. So not repeat exactly 10 times. We want repeat until. And I've had students accidentally use this one. Don't use that one. Use repeat until. Okay, repeat until the ball is no longer touching the wall. And if you look at this one right here, we want the exact same thing as this. So we're no longer touching, but instead of the object, we're going to say the wall. All right, so we're going to say not, then go to sensing and say touching. No, not that one. Touching, and then we'll say the wall. Okay, not touching the wall. So we're stabbed in right now, or plunged in, and so we want to back off so we're not touching it. All right, so move -5. So now we're out back to where we were, and we're going to do a very intricate, like plunging routine here. We're going to keep stabbing into the wall. I keep putting my hand in the wrong spot. So keep stabbing into the wall until and turning until we are, let's say, hey, here's the wall. We're going to plunge, turn, plunge, turn, plunge, turn, plunge, turn. until our ball is going parallel to it. As soon as it plunges and realizes it's not touching the wall anymore, it's going to have to remember how much it turned, and then it's going to turn that much more and then bounce off. So if you come in at this angle, you have to you have to turn just a little bit till you with it, and then turn the same amount, and then you bounce off. If you come in at a very slight angle, then you only need to do a little bit, and then turn a little bit, and then bounce off. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing, but we're doing it in increments, and we're going to use the variable your angle to keep track of how many how much we turn as we're doing those stabbing motions. All right, so we backed up, so let's turn. And you want to turn just a little bit at a time. And in the instructions, it says anywhere from 1 to 5 degrees. 1 is more accurate, but it takes a lot more time to do it. And it can be it'll seem like your ball is sticking to the wall while it's trying to figure out how much to bounce off of it. So, and 5 is not very accurate. So I found a happy medium is, like 2.5. Okay. So each time we stab, we're going to turn 2.5 degrees and then try again. Okay. But each time we do that, we need to keep track of it. So we're going to change your angle, not set. We're going to change it by, oops, didn't work. There we go, 2.5. So 2.5, so whatever this is, this has to match. So if you change one, change the other to be the same. And so that's adding it to your angle by saying change. So every time it does this, this will continually add up. So it starts at 2.5, then it goes to 5, then it goes to 7.5, so on and so forth. And take another stab. So move 5 steps. So it's stabbed to begin with. It backs up, turns, takes another stab. Backs up, turns, takes another stab until it's not touching the wall. So it just keeps doing this until it finally, boom, parallel. All right. So once it finds out that it's parallel, we need to go back to our original position by moving back -5 again. So because we initially did our first stab out of the loop, we need to come back out of it when we are out of the loop again. So this is stabbing in and stabbing out, and this is stabbing in, stabbing out, and everything cancels out, and we're back to where we were. All right. Second page. Turn your ball, your angle, degrees clockwise. So now we're adding it in. Okay, we've been keeping track of it this whole time. So turn. Now turn clockwise. Make sure those are the same. And we're going to use your angle. So go up to data and say your angle, and just drop it in there. So no matter how your ball comes in at that wall, it's going to figure it out and make this work. Okay, now if we have a wall that's not perfectly straight and it has a weird curvature to it, we need to have a move on. So go to more blocks and say move on and say the wall. That makes sure it doesn't get stuck in the wall. And should we try it? I think so. Boom. It's working. Check it out. All right, let's take a look at something here. Let's put the pen down and you will actually see all the stabs right there. You can kind of see it's kind of like fanned out. If we could zoom in, but I can't, you would see little tiny lines showing all the different stabs. So that's the length of that. Those little lines are 5 steps. So you can kind of visualize what's happening there. And to help you a little bit more, I'm going to do something. I'm going to edit this thing. I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to turn off the run without screen refresh. Oh, it skipped through the wall. Huh. See how much slower it is now? So if you notice that happening, that means you forgot to turn on the run without screen refresh. So that shows you a little bit of the ball figuring out what's going on. Anyway, because the ball does that every once in a while. I don't have a fix for that yet, so just know that every once in a while you will have a glitch. Scratch isn't the perfect program, and we just deal with its flaws here. We're kind of running it at its max right here. This is a lot of work for it to do that all at once. There is one way to make it run better. That is to download the Scratch application so it runs offline. So you're not running it through a web browser, you're running it off of your computer. And so because it's not going through the internet, it runs a lot smoother, or so I've heard. So you might want to try that. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix the run without screen refresh. Say okay. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to clear all that mess. But if I don't hit pen up, it'll keep drawing. Whoa. Pen up. All right, it's good. Okay. All right. So that's basically most of it. Now they want us to do another wall. So we can do that real fast. Click on wall, right click, duplicate. Now we have a wall 2. Go to the eye and let's let's go -45 right here. Move it over. Voila. So if we hit play, it's not going to work. See, it goes right through it. The reason why is we haven't programmed it to act with it. All we have is wall. We don't have wall 2. So duplicate that. And we got to change this to wall 2. And this to the right arrow and type in 2. Wall 2, wall 2. Now it works. Hey, no problem. The ball is running a little fast. That could be a reason why it's skipping through the wall. Don't go over 20, and maybe not even over 15. Because otherwise, the ball can glitch really easily. All right, so that's easy. Now it says to make a wall that's not straight. Make a wall that's like curved or something weird. All right. Do that. Let's stop it. Click on this. Say vector. I'm going to do another rectangle, but then I'm going to modify it. Okay. Pink or I don't know. You can do all sorts of weird colors here. Green. Yay. Green. Fill. Green. Yay. Then I'm going to click this button here that says Reshape, and I can add, come on, there we go. I can add anchor points, and I can reshape this thing however I want. Okay, so I'm going to do something simple. Come on. Put these 2 up high. This one up high. This one up high. If you click on it without moving it, it gets rid of it, so I'm gonna have a nice sharp point there. Sharp point there. So I'm not gonna make it perfect because I don't want to bore you to death. I'm gonna put it up here. And move the kickers down a little bit. Put peg here, here, peg up here, peg over here. Okay. Run it. It goes right through it. Why? Because we didn't tell it to hit it. Here we go. Stop. Right click, duplicate, bring it down. What do I do? Wall. Oh, shoot. Okay. Don't call it sprite 1. Never leave them called sprites. Call it wall 3. There we go. Okay. Go back. Ball. Try again. Wall 3. Wall 3. And play. There we go. It's bouncing off of it. No problem. Sweet. Okay. A lot of people probably are like, how do I get rid of these things over here? All those numbers. Just go to data and these check marks. Boom, 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 boom. And if you click this button right here, I don't know if it'll follow me on the screen capture, but it makes it full screen so you can watch everything in big format. Then you click the same button and it goes back small. Okay? All right. Almost done. Sorry, this is a long one. And stop. They want you to make a trap so that when the ball hits it, it knows that it's game over. Okay? Another sprite. Let's go to vector. Make something simple. Fill in, fill in, fill in. Real easy. Bring it down here. Reshape. Make it wider. There we go. There's our trap for now. Make it better than mine. All right. Go back to scripts. I can move it down here so it's just barely sticking out. It's like green lava. It kills the ball. Okay. Click on the ball. Now we need to make code for it to actually make the ball disappear. So let's look at this. It says create a new sprite and call it whatever you like. I will make it consistent with everything else. And because it says make a trap, I'm going to call it trap. Just because I want to keep it simple here. And I want to know what everything is when I click on the down arrow in the menu. Okay, control, if then. Touching the trap. So if I touch the trap, what do they want me to do? It needs to hide the ball. And it says that it's in the looks category, so go to looks. It's our first time in looks, and say hide. So we're going to hide the ball. Add a command to stop the current script. That's in the control command, so go to control, and we'll say stop. And it says to say stop the current script. So it says stop, I'll say stop this script. And then it says add a code to the balls when flagged. So way up here to, I already did it. All right, add. All right, 1 second. I did this previously and I forgot to delete. Pretend you didn't see that. Okay, so you're gonna come up here and you're going to say show. So that's it again in looks. So you're going to show the ball. All right. And that's when the flag is clicked. So when it comes in there, it stops everything. When you click it, it does it again. Now, you might run into that problem. Do you see it go straight down and just go right for the trap? So that's what that other one was that you saw. I'm going to go to motion and say point in direction. Now, you could just say point up, and so it'll go up every single time, but that gets really predictable, and the ball goes in the exact same way every time. So that's why I added in this one right here. There's another new block for you. Pick random 1 to 10. Okay. Now, what's straight up? 0. And 90 is right, negative 90 left. I don't want to go that big of a range. So I would say, negative 20 to positive 20 would be an interesting range. And so every time we hit go, it'll start in a different direction, and it's not predictable at all. Anyway, so, and it won't be predictable, but it will be in a decent direction that won't go straight down into the trap, and people will be like, hey, that's not fair, and say that you're a bad game designer. That is it. That's all.